All right, Rob, let's get into it. Yesterday, Team USA beat Serbia by 26 points. Kevin Durant and LeBron James, both fantastic, particularly Durant, who was playing his first game with the Olympic team.
It certainly didn't look like it. My goodness gracious. But
they decided he would play about an hour before.
But Chris, you just said it. One thing. He hadn't played with these guys. It doesn't matter who you drop in with Kevin Durant or who he drops in with. He's going to play. He's that kind of player. He just is.
No doubt. I mean, he's the perfect Team USA player because he's surrounded by great players, so the defense can't focus on him. You can't double team him. And that means he's either getting an open shot or a one-on-one opportunity. And with his height, with his shooting ability. Also, Rob, in the NBA, I've been saying this for years. Kevin Durant needs to shoot more three-pointers. He only shoots about 5 a game, which for a guy who can shoot it as well as him, he should be shooting like 9 a game.
Yeah.
And he takes a lot of mid-range shots and long twos. But guess what those long twos are in the international play? Threes, because the three-point line is shorter. So he's the perfect player. That's why he's the leading scorer all time for Team USA. Also, Rob, guess the guy who's second is similar to Durant, not as good, Carmelo Anthony. Same thing with him. Catch and shoot, one-on-one, jump shooter, mid-range shooter. The international play was perfect for him as well, and that's why he's the second leading scorer all time. But, yeah, so Durant was spectacular, 23 points, 21 in the first half, and changed the game. They were down 6 when he entered the game. They quickly went on an 11-0 run behind 2 3-pointers from him, and then they win going away by 26 points. But one of the huge stories, Rob, coming out of the game was that Jayson Tatum, who has been a first-team All-NBA player the last 3 years, the only American on the All-NBA team this year, was benched, did not play a moment. And here's what Steve Kerr said about it, the head coach.
It's tough, but Jayson handled it really well. I talked to him today before the game that it may play out this way, just with Kevin coming back and the lineups that I wanted to get to. But that'll change. Jayson's going to play. Every game's going to be different based on matchups. He's a total pro. He's first team All-NBA 3 years in a row. I felt like an idiot not playing him. But in a 40-minute game, you can't play more than 10. You really can't. And so I think he's an amazing guy, great player, and handled it beautifully. And he'll be back out there next game.
Poppycock Boulder Dash. Sorry, Steve Kerr. It was a blowout. He couldn't play a few minutes to get up off the bench. The last time Jayson Tatum didn't get into a basketball game, Chris, was when he didn't play in a game. He was playing Little League.
I can't imagine he's ever not played a minute.
Yeah, it was when he was in Little League. He didn't play any basketball minutes. That's the only time in a basketball game. Yes, right. Come on. Steve Kerr, stop it. I understand. 40 minutes, 10 players. It was a blowout. Once Kevin Durant did his thing and got them where they wanted to go, Chris, what would have been the worst thing in the world to put him out there for a few minutes? If he explained it before, fine. There's no reason that you don't empty the bench. Serbia, really? Chris, you were worried about, got to keep those guys in. I got my rotation. I got to keep it set against Serbia. I don't want them to come back. I'm sorry. You know what? And I'm sure Jayson Tatum is not going to say anything, and he's just going to go along with it, Chris. Right. You know what I mean? Right. But I'm sorry, and we get it. I'm not saying he expects to play 25 minutes, and he's pissed that he didn't start, and we get this. It's nothing but it's a roster full of great players.
And it's not even that he's not as good. I mean, he's clearly better than Drew Holiday, Bam Adebayo,
that's what I'm
Derek White.
Thank you, Chris.
So it's not about, and that's what he has to realize so he doesn't get down on himself, Rob. It's not about who's the best player. I think he's better than Devin Booker, too.
Right.
It's about the fit. And I hear you. Here's what I say, though. I do think Steve Kerr going to Jayson before the game and saying, look, we got Kevin Durant coming back. We're obviously going to get him some minutes. This team, Serbia, is big, so we're going to play all three of our centers, and they're guard-oriented, so we're going to play the guards. You might not play tonight at all. And I think, that still doesn't make it better, or I shouldn't say it doesn't make it better. It does make it better. It doesn't make it, you still want to play. But I think, Rob, a coach going to you before the game and saying that does soften the blow a little bit versus if you're just blindsided. You think you're the seventh man on the team and you're blindsided by not playing at all. And then I think, Rob, I wonder if Kerr felt like, do I put him in with 4 minutes left? We're up 25, whatever it was. Is that disrespectful? Does he feel bad, if I put him in garbage time and all that? Maybe not, because, Rob, the point differential does matter in these early rounds, like how big the margin of victory is. But I think it's going to, going forward is really how it's going to impact Jayson Tatum. Like Kerr is saying he's going to play in their next game, which is Wednesday against South Sudan, because South Sudan is more athletic and Tatum's a better matchup for them and all that. Last time he played, they only won by a point, but he played 16 minutes. If he only plays, Rob, 3 or 4 minutes, now Tatum's going to be like, yo, what's going on? He won't say it publicly, as you said, but that's when he's going to really be bothered. If he plays 15 minutes, 12 minutes, 20 minutes, whatever it might be, I think he'll be fine and understand, that was just a matchup situation. KD was coming back. I get it. So I just think how they handle it going forward is going to be a big part of this too.
Yeah, I just think that you also, like you talked about putting them in the last 4 minutes, I think for a guy who's coming off like the high of his NBA career, finally broke through after all that, the conversation naturally is one of embarrassment for him, whether he says it or not. His family, friends, people, they didn't even put you. How could they disrespect you like that? Like I think if you're Steve Kerr, you have to understand there is a part of that, Chris. And if you went to Tatum and said, hey, I know we only got 4 minutes left here. If you want to go in,
right,
I understand. I'll put you in, Chris. And if he says, if you don't, I'll respect that as well. I'm gonna give you it's your call, and let him say, Coach, let me just go out and get a few minutes. I want to get out there. Do you know what I mean, Chris? Like that, that's the way that it could have been handled. And Steve Kerr could have said, you know what? I offered him a chance to go out there, and he wasn't, he wasn't trying to make that happen or whatever. Or he just, felt like it was so late in the game and he wasn't ready to, or whatever it is. And people would have been like, oh, he had a chance to go, but he just didn't want to play.
It would have softened it a little.
Am I right? Rather than him being a pinata today, he's being a pinata for no reason.
Right. It's a bad look. And I think, too, is your stature in the game. Like we said, he's coming off winning a championship. He's first team All-NBA the last 3 years. He's in his prime. Like he's starting his prime, if you will. And so for him, it is a big deal. Whereas Tyrese Halliburton, Rob, he's over there. He's young. He's smiling. He's laughing. He's having fun. And I get it. Tyrese Halliburton is not even in his prime yet. He's just happy to be on the squad, right? And so there's a difference in how they handled it. But again, publicly, Tatum was good. He has to be. He cannot make us think. Rob, even if he doesn't play against South Sudan, you can't say anything publicly. Now, you could be ticked off privately, but in public, this is about winning a championship or a gold medal. It's not about any individual. All right. And maybe, Rob, being behind two legends like LeBron and KD softens it a bit for him. But, it was a tough. I would have liked to have seen him get in. It's not like he didn't play well during the exhibition games. And it was unfortunate that, he didn't get in. But we'll see. I mean, if he's benched going forward, and doesn't play much, then it's going to really be a problem.
Yeah,
absolutely.
There will be a problem.